Live. Well, hello everyone. This is Kathy Greggs. I am the co-founder and president of Fayetteville Police Accountability Community Task Force. And tonight we are going to talk to the Black Panthers, the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, the new Black Panther Party today, and as well as Dr. Barr will be our moderator. Dr. Barr, Tina Barr, used to be our vice president here at Fayetteville Police Accountability Community Task Force in Fayetteville. She currently does not live here anymore, so she's no longer our vice president, but she called to moderate tonight's actual series for us. Dr. Tina Barr is a professor and a researcher ending mass incarceration as well as wrongful convictions. She assists us with our bail reform here in Fayetteville, our citizen review board, and also research on juvenile detention here in Cumberland County. So I'm going to go ahead and let Dr. Barr go ahead and introduce everyone on the panel, and then we'll go into a discussion. This discussion will be real. This is not going to be a panel that everybody's politically correct. So we ask you to put chat in the chat box, any questions that you have. And please make sure you have clarification on the questions, because last night we kind of didn't understand some of the questions that was written. So just go ahead and put it in the chat. If you have another question offline, please address us in our Fayetteville PACT inbox messenger on Facebook, and we will address that issue. So we're going to go ahead and get this discussion started. Thank you, Dr. Tina Barr.
Thanks, Ms. Kathy Greggs. It's good to be back with PACT this evening, and thank you everybody who is joining in with us for taking time out your day, especially those of us who have worked a long day, but as long as there is work to be done, then we push forward. And so thank you all for being here. Thank you to our guests. Tonight, we have a couple of speakers who will be illuminating us on their efforts to in the North Carolina community towards liberation. And so first we have Major Black with the new Black Panther Party in Lumberton, North Carolina, and the North Carolina Chairman, Mid-Atlantic Region Chief of Staff. Did I get that title correct?
Black Power.
Okay, and we also have Commander Mossberg of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club Fayetteville Command. And to get us started, to make sure we're all kind of starting from the same page before we get into the full conversation, I'd like to ask Major Black and Commander Mossberg just to take some time to tell the audience and us about your respective organizations so people have an understanding of what your mission is, your purpose, and why your organization exists. We can start with Major Black, if you don't mind.
Black Power family. The sole purpose of the Panther is to be a revolutionary for the Black people liberation, to organize the masses towards self-determination. We're here to help build, uplift, and empower our people. We're the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. Self-defense. We don't terrorize people. We don't hang people. We don't burn crosses. We're here to service our people, to support and defend our people. Black Power.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you already answered one of my questions I had, but we'll get into it. But one of my questions is about misconceptions about your organization. And so you already started hitting on that, which I think is important to clarify, because we know that there are misconceptions out there.
Right.
Okay. Commander Mossberg, can you just say a few words about the Huey P. Newton Gun Club?
Yes, sister. We were organized in 2014. We came under command of Commander Babu Amawali. Over here inside of Fayetteville, we take up a lot of responses toward a lot of things that we see that we need inside of the community, i.e. we're in the South right now. We know the problems of the South. One of our mottos is, we will shoot back. We will not be a soft target, anything like that, anything to do with self-defense. Each one teach one. If we have somebody experienced inside of an area of self-defense, we take that individual, and that individual goes off and we teach the next person. That person teaches the next person. There's a lot of misconstruction about what we do or anything like that on social media. Pretty much anybody that's not a soft target is seen as a threat. If I'm a threat, I'm a threat. That is what it is. I am not a soft target. Anywhere that I do go, I'm legally carrying my firearm. We abide by every single law. That's why you don't hear up in the news when us being arrested or anything like that on some bad stuff or anything like that. We are pillars of our community, and we're just here to help our community understand nobody is allowed to take your life. Nobody. I don't care how they dress. I don't care what type of title they have. Nobody's allowed to take your life. Defend yourself vigorously. And that deals with white supremacy, that deals with that one individual that want to break inside of your house in the middle of the night. No, we finna give you hell. No matter what, we will protect ourselves.
Mhm. Okay, so you already, you all have brought up a question in my mind. Some of the misconceptions that people have about your organization and what you stand for. Are there some common ones? And Captain Mossberg, I know you just said something about people thinking you're more aggressively violent, but you're in actuality, you stand for defending yourself. Are there other misconceptions you think people have about your respective groups?
Well, if you think about it, oh, excuse me, I apologize.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right. So if you think about it, we see these pictures on social media. You know, the Caucasian family holding rifles in front of a Christmas tree. Some people would call that patriotic. Some people would call that this is the American dream right here. But if you take my family and you see us holding rifles or you see us training or anything like that, the thing that will be brought to us is, oh, look at these thugs. They training to rob somebody. They training to do this, that, and the other. But you think about it, most of our members are ex-military, ex-police officers, anybody inside of that career field. We have been through all of the training. We have been through theater, served this country, if you may. We are pillars of our community. And all we want to do is just help each other become more and protect ourselves. So that's the thing it's not conceived inside of the correct manner, because a lot of people do look at our skin color. And if you actually think about it, that is a shame. Like, what makes me less of a man? Because of the way that I look, the way that I have went through my life, doing everything correct. And now I want to help my people. And then you hear this other thing. What about Chicago? What about Chicago? What about Chicago? We look every day and we see different things happening all over the country, like these mass shootings and stuff like that. No, we're going to protect ourselves. We are going to protect ourselves. And that's what people need to get up inside of their mind. That time frame of oh, they're docile, or they're weak, or they're savages, or anything like that. No, throw it out the window. We are very educated inside our craft, and that's what we put out to the community.
Okay.
And Commander Moss just spoke on something. The military. A lot of us go in the military and we fight for this country and we fight for the white man's army. But when we try to build and have a black man's army, it's a problem. We are here to develop and to help and service the people. Now, if I have a weapon, Constitution says I have the right to have a weapon. But when Timmy has a weapon, again, he's patriotic, he's a hunter, he's this and he's that. When I have a weapon, I'm a threat. And that figure that. And then some of our own people look at us as a threat, look at us as not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that, not supposed to carry ourselves a certain way, especially if we're armed. Nobody likes the warrior until the enemy is knocking on their door. Black power.
Mhm, mhm. I think you brought up a really interesting point that how some of their own people are take issue or are the ones with misconceptions or hesitant about what you're doing with your groups. But thank you for clearing up some of those misconceptions. So each of you in your respective organizations I'll start with Major Black. What is your role and what does that entail? What do you do in your role?
The chairperson for the Lumpton chapter. It's my job to build, to educate, to train, to make sure that my people are in a position where they know, first of all, we scream we're revolutionaries. A lot of us, Panthers, non-Panthers, people in other organizations, have no idea what the definition of revolutionary is. A revolution itself, the definition is complete constructive change. Are you doing that? Have you done that? Well, I've changed. People say I've changed and I did this. Our change isn't good change. Now, it's my job to make sure the Panthers are ready in all aspects. And first in doing so, we have to know who we are as people. You know, we are governed by the 5 duties of a Panther. And once we learn that, we know how to carry ourselves. We know what we should do and what we shouldn't do. We know, and we take it to the communities. We teach the people what they need to know. We govern certain aspects of our communities and our cities when we're allowed to do so. Chief of Staff, Mid-Atlantic region. The Mid-Atlantic region consists of 11 states. And my job is to ensure that the chapters within that state abide by certain rules and regulations and procedures, get certain trainings, and the individuals know the chain of command, follow it, and it's like the domino effect. When it starts falling down here, everybody gets it.
And so I think you brought up another point that is important for people to know, that this is it's not just, this is the new Black Panther Party in North Carolina. This is countrywide.
Correct.
Yeah.
And overseas.
And overseas, okay. Commander Mossberg, in your role?
Yeah, I oversee and conduct a lot of training. We're training every single 2 weeks down here. Any melanated individual that is Black is allowed to become a member, conduct training with us at any time, even if they are not a member. Start off from the basics, graduate you into some good technical stuff. Also, we seen what happened inside of Katrina. FEMA, they'll put you inside of a stadium and your kids being raped and different things like that. We don't depend on the government for that type of stuff. We're going to teach the community how to grow their own food, how to go hunt, how to survive, how to depend on themselves, because a lot of people that say that they are trying to help you, they don't really care about you. They pretty much doing the job and what's good for them politically. Other things, self-defense classes. Is your daughter going to college? What does she need to know? How does she keep herself safe? We understand inside of a college that, it's a huge rape culture that's going on. Same thing inside of the military. If our daughters go to the military, we understand that life is not sugar and roses. So we prepare for the worst outcome, not being hate mongers to everyone else or not trying to be pushy and aggressive to anyone else. We just want that type of solidarity. We want the community to come together and be one. We want to be happy. We want to be safe. And that's what we put out to the world.
Okay.
Commander.
Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me. Commander Moss just said we're not hate mongers. That's another thing that people look at it. We do not hate white people. We hate oppression.
Exactly.
If there's somebody being exploited, there's somebody exploiting them. If there's somebody that's oppressed, there's an oppressor. And I just spoke of the 5 duties. Our second duty of a Panther is to be respectful to all people, not to pick and choose to all and demand the same. We don't hate white people, we hate oppression, black power.
And
So,
if I could add on to that,
yep.
you hear every other culture talking about, oh, what about Chicago? What about your neighborhoods? Oh, you burning down your neighborhoods. But when me and Major Black get together and we doing this stuff with our people, it's like, okay, they doing something positive. Let's talk crap about that too. They doing something positive for their community. Let's throw dirt on that. Like anything that come to our people, they want to throw dirt on. If it's progressive, that's all we're doing, is just trying to progress our people inside of a different light so they can understand a higher power of how we can treat each other. And that's the only thing right there. Like, we being educated by our oppressor. We being fed by our oppressor. We going to hospitals that are ran by our oppressor. Every single thing, every single aspect is done by our oppressor. And I have to say that is the most idiotic thing ever inside of life, to be controlled inside of that manner. So right now, like with the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, we're not being taught by our oppressor. This is us teaching us. This is FUBU, for us, by us.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you allow yourself to even think about being properly educated by the enemy? And, you know, oppression is oppression. It has no color, just like poverty. And I often ask people, what's the difference between a cracker and a white man? You know, the ancestors say, beware the cracker. Stay away from the cracker. Watch the cracker. They didn't say watch the slave master. They didn't say watch Missy Ann or Mr. Bill at the grocery store. They always warned us of the cracker. And the term cracker comes from the overseer, from the crack of the whip. And now we have people that's cracking whips. And it's sad to say, we have black people that can't wait to get a whip in their damn hands. Black power.
Yep. The oppressor without becomes the oppressor within. So meaning that, yes, they incorporate the ideology, the mindset of the people who are oppressing. Since, have you noticed an increased interest in your organizations in the last couple years? And so I'm thinking about with PACT, where we were slow and steady doing the work in the community, trying to hold the police accountable, addressing police killings of Black men in the city. And we were just slow and steady doing that. And then all of a sudden, COVID, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, it was just boom, boom, boom. All of these murders were happening in quick succession, or the realization of them were happening all of a sudden. And then with Fayetteville PACT, all of a sudden there were people coming from everywhere wanting to be involved. And that's good, the level of involvement that people had, but whether or not it maintained, that's another question. Did you all have a surge in interest in your organizations?
Can I answer this one first?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So during the George Floyd trial, during the George Floyd riots and stuff like that, yeah, we had a big increase. People understood, they seen on camera a cop killing a man and nobody did anything about it. But when things cool out, people are satisfied, people going back into their ways, we seen a decrease of interest. When a lot of Caucasian individuals was talking about during the Civil War and stuff like that. Yeah, we had an increase of individuals trying to apply, asking us for help and different things like that. And as soon as that thing was over, you know, just dead silence. We doing the same thing. The messed up thing about all of this, we do all our training for our people for free.
Mm.
I also own a company. I'm part owner of Afro Tactical. We charge because it is a business. I teach my people for free. I gave a card out, 2 cards out, one for Afro Tactical, one for Huey P. Newton Gun Club. I understand that, you know, I told the individual, this is free. This is, you have to pay for this. The one that they went for was the one they had to pay for. People don't take free things, they take free things as a grain of salt, like it holds no value. But I have an infinite amount of knowledge. Like, I've been deployed 3.5 years out of my life. I was a non-commissioned officer, a leader inside of the Army. I could take orders, I could bark orders. It doesn't matter to me. This is the way that things like should be, and you know, you have to learn to follow before you learn how to lead. People don't respect a lot of free stuff, and I just want to put that out. You still getting the same brain, no matter if you pay for it or if you don't pay for it. You're about to be crawling inside of the same dirt. You finna be busting the same gun. You finna be doing the same exact thing. It's up to you if you want that training or not.
Major Black, did you notice an increase in interest?
Yes, ma'am. But like you mentioned, whether they maintain it or not, a lot of people, when something happens, they get angry. They want to do something. And some people, if it doesn't hit home, they don't care. The interest will come and it'll go. A lot of people get interested. They want to be a part of something. Oh, I see this going on. They doing this. They dressing out. They have weapons. And that's what I'm about. And then they fall off.
Yeah.
And I'm using the example when we was in Fayetteville. A lot of people they was ready. But as soon as things died down, they fell back to sleep. And then a lot of people say they're interested and they'll start trying to join, but they're joining for the right reasons. And whenever you join an organization like the Panthers, the new Black Panther Party, you got to have a love for your people. You got to know what you get into. You know, my 12-year-old granddaughter, she told one of her friends one day, my granddaddy gonna get thrown in jail and they're gonna throw away the key or they're gonna kill him. Because I prepared them for this. I know what I'm in and why I'm in it. And I'm the brother who would die for you. I would die for everybody on this panel. I would die for my people, but I ain't dying for niggas and I ain't dying for nigga shit for nobody. I don't do that. So you got to know why you're a part of this. You can have an interest, and some people have an interest and they sit on it because their status in the community, their jobs. So be it. You don't have to be a Panther. You don't have to be Huey P. Newton Gun Club. You don't have to be an organization to support their organization. A lot of people won't even support Black Power.
So how do you mention talking with your granddaughter, kind of preparing, and as both of you were talking earlier, with the realization and the understanding that you're doing this, you're not doing anything drastically different than white folks who are, you know, have their organizations, they're doing similar types of training and education with firearms and just, you know, survival, self-sufficiency. So, you know, that because the world we live in this country, it's different because of the color of your skin. And so how else do you do things in other ways to prepare the people around you, your loved ones, about what may go down one day because of what you are striving for and the efforts you put into liberation of your own community?
Yes, that's a must with me. And when we go out on maneuvers, my goal is to get my people home to their families because I need to return home to mine. And I got arrested a couple of years ago. I got hit with pretty much some terroristic charges. And they took me out of population and they put me in a cell with a bunch of skinheads and the lightning bolts and the spider webs. The ancestors protected me, but what was the purpose of that?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So anytime we go out, there's a chance we don't come home.
Right.
Now, that's even with anybody of color today. You can go to the grocery store and not make it back home. So preparation is a must.
Mm.
And we have loved ones who worry about us, don't want us to do anything. But they overstand, and I try to teach mine and instill in them why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for them. Black power.
Okay. Commander Mossberg, did you want to comment on that at all? If not, fine.
Yeah, I do. Black people use drugs at the same rate as anybody else inside of this country. Yet we are the most incarcerated. We weren't, I'm not going to go all the way to say that we wasn't violent during slavery or anything like that. We had our revolts. It was for the right reason. We were being mistreated. But everything we know today and everything we do today was taught to us. We wasn't raping nobody. They freed us. And as soon as we were freed, now we became the rapists. We wasn't doing any criminal acts or anything like that, but as soon as they freed us, we the biggest criminals. We go back to President Nixon. He didn't want integration. He didn't want us one day coming home with their daughter to the Thanksgiving table. That was the highest threat to the United States. He even said even more so than Russia and China. Here we are today, dealing with Russia and China. We have always been messed with. You look at Rosewood, you look at Black Wall Street. We come in fresh out of slavery. We're educated. We educated ourselves, built our own libraries, built our own schools, built our own every single thing, our own banks, our own businesses. We're doing good. Then the jealousy starts, then the planes start flying and the bombs start coming out of those airplanes and hitting everything. And then we get our land taken away from us. I say no more. I say no more. I say let's build because we have it in us. Our ancestors did. We were kings and queens before we came over here. We were doctors. We were scientists. We were alchemists. We were all of that before we came over here. They took that away. They took away our language. They took away our religion. They took away how we practice medicine. They took all of that away. And it's like, okay, now you have to go through our programs, but we don't want you to go through those programs. We didn't fought inside of every single war that America has presented in front of us, and we fought diligently. But when we get out of these wars, all the way until Vietnam, the end of Vietnam, after all of us and lost our lives and all of this stuff has happened, it's like, okay, now you could get college education. This at the end of Vietnam. Now you could, we could put you inside of the Fair Housing Act, which wasn't that long ago. Now you can build revenue, but we already 400 years behind everybody else. And then we hear this BS, oh, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We couldn't buy 100 acres with $5. We couldn't do that. Nobody will allow us to do that. But we still go on and we still go forth. And that's what I want people to know. I want them to know our history. Slavery isn't Black history. That's part of it, but that's not all of Black history. We are inventors. We were when we were slaves, we were inventing stuff. They couldn't even put our faces on the invention. They had to put somebody else's face on the invention for that invention to sell. Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels didn't make that alcohol. His slave did. And then just recently, oh, we're going to make an alcoholic beverage just for him because it's coming out that Uncle Nearest made that alcohol. So we're going to give this to his children. No, we had contributed every single thing that we were supposed to contribute over time. But enough is enough. We need our just due. Everybody else got reparations. Native Americans got reparations. The Germans got reparations. The Japanese got reparations. But when it come to us, no, y'all got Obama.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I have a question from someone listening in, Babu X Omawale. Salute to you all, great work. My question is, who do we focus on? Those who are conscious or those who are sleeping in an attempt to wake them?
First off, I would like to shout out to Commander Babu Amawali. He is the commander of all of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Nice.
We have to focus on both. Okay, yeah, we got some woke folk. We got it. But those people that are asleep, we got to get them into it also. Each one teach one. And that's what the platform is. That is what we do. If you are lacking on anything and you are my brother, you are my sister, we got to reel you in. We have to do that. And just like Major Black has said, I ain't doing this for no niggas. Got it. But we got to reel them niggas in too. We got to teach them a different type of way. Because those are our brothers. Those are our sisters. I understand what you're saying, and it's all respect, but I have to concentrate on those anyway.
Major Black, did you want to comment on who should we focus on, those who are conscious or those still sleeping?
Well, Major Black hasn't always been conscious. And there are certain aspects of my life, the movement, that I'm still coming out of darkness in. When we go out for the people, everybody. We don't know who's conscious until we go out and deal with them. Some people come out of darkness at a different rate than others. Do we give up on them? No, we don't. But we have to allow them to go through their journey. I can't get upset with you because you're not on the level I think you should be. But I should be focusing on how can I get you to come out of darkness into consciousness. Black power.
In regards to North Carolina and liberation, how do you all think North Carolina is doing?
I think it's sad. We just had a brother, Fred Cox, get murdered. It was he was at a church at a funeral. It was a drive-by that went past the front of the church, and they were shooting, and Fred Cox jumped out of his vehicle. He's a hero. He's a true hero. He runs out of his vehicle when he could have drove away and been safe. Opens up the door, letting old people, women, children inside of the church so they can hide from the gunfire. And he gets shot. 10 days later, they ask they finally come out and say, okay, a detective shot him, killed him, murdered him. And it just came out, I just seen it today that they're not going to charge that detective. Then they try to say a gun was by his body. He never fired a shot, anything else. And here inside of North Carolina, you're allowed to open carry a rifle, a pistol, a shotgun, whatever you want. That is not a means to kill anybody. But yet, if anybody else would have shot them, they would have been locked up. But it's a thin blue line. It's a thin blue line. And I'm finna go ahead and say it. I know I'm on live and all that. That pig need to fry. That bacon needs to fry. He murdered one of ours for no freaking reason. And he's a fucking coward for the simple fact, why the fuck you ain't shooting at the motherfuckers that's goddamn shooting? You want to fucking take somebody's life that's helping people. That pig need to fucking fry. And this is my words. This is not Hewitt P. Newton Gun Club's words. These are my words. That pig need to fucking fry. Nobody's helping us out with this. Nobody inside of North Carolina that's inside of the Justice Department is helping us out with this. And we're going to need help to bring justice over to Fred Cox. Now we got another individual that was down here inside of Fayetteville. The story goes, he jumped on a vehicle, on a big old truck. I understand the law. If your life is in danger, you're allowed to protect your life. You're allowed to protect those around you. But if an individual jump on your truck and you step outside and you shoot him, your life wasn't in danger. But when you stepped out the truck, now you the aggressor. I don't know if he got hit by the truck. I don't know, like, definitely, but I understand. Me as a civilian, if somebody jumped on my truck, I'm finna just hit the gas and then hit the brake and he's gonna fly off. No harm, no foul. I don't care. You don't have to take a life inside of any instance. But no, this is not getting better. No matter how much we march, how much we sing, how much we pray, how much we take a knee, none of that. They don't care. They do not care. They're killing us indiscriminately. Nobody's getting charged inside of the Breonna Taylor case. How is that? You took an innocent life of a person that's a civil servant that goes out every day inside of her ambulance and save lives. And nobody bats an eye inside of the Justice Department. And you want to put these cops in jail, or you want to go ahead, you want them to testify on why they shot through a wall. No, just disregard to the life at all. Like this, I'm sorry about like slurring and stuff. Like I'm mad over this.
All good.
And then they try to go to her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend that's already in jail, that they were trying to go after, and they try to give him a plea deal for him they're trying to make up a story like, hey, tell us that she got drugs and she was helping you sell drugs so we could justify this killing. No, what is justice? Justice and liberty for all. We used to stand up inside of class every day just like this, repeating those words. And then they want to get mad when we take a knee at a baseball stadium, at a football stadium, at a basketball stadium. They want to get mad at that. But you gotta, like, the American people gotta understand. We inside of these streets marching because our lives are being taken. We out here pissed off because our lives are being taken. We out here and we're very disgruntled because our lives are being taken. And we pleading every single way possible for everybody that don't look like us to stop taking our lives because our life matters. And what they do? No, all life matters. Blue lives matter. Blah, blah, blah lives matter. They want to turn it around like that. We're out here because we dying. I don't know how clear that could actually be. It is idiotic for anybody to even argue with that, but people actually try.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Major Black, what's your assessment of North Carolina and where the state is with liberation?
North Carolina to me is like any other state. But North Carolina, let's talk about freedom, free your dome. Yeah, starts here. You know, liberation, the freeing of prisoners, from what's going on, the freedom from oppression, you know, setting somebody free, setting them up to acquire freedom. And you spoke about consciousness earlier. A lot of our people are not conscious. A lot of people, they're content with the state they're in and what they're doing. So freedom, some of them think they're already free. A lot of the freedom that I noticed, let's say North Carolina, as well as some other states, they have a religious freedom. So they think, you know, Jesus gonna do this, I'm dealing with this, and the religion is gonna hold me and carry me, and we're content with where we're at. That's not freedom. That's contentment. And a lot of them content in bullshit. That's just bottom line. There are some of those who are conscious and seriously trying to obtain types of freedom. One of the worst things I think we ever did was get into bed with them white people. There was a point in time you can't eat at this restaurant. So we went to our own restaurant. We couldn't purchase goods, cars, and all that. So we went to our own. We had our own. Once we got in bed with the white people and that systemic racist bullshit, we got content. We didn't worry about having our own. We had a different type of freedom to some of them. But we lost the little freedom that we acquired by getting in bed with them. So I think there's a lot of work that need to be done in North Carolina and some other states. And in time, those who are on this journey, you know, if you can reach one, and that one reach one, and that one reach one, we will continue to grow and build. But right now, I think people's ideology, their concept of freedom is kind of fucked up. White power.
We have another question. I think Captain Mossberg, Commander Mossberg, you said Commander Babu Omawale. I hope I didn't get the commander.
Yeah, they're close enough.
Close enough. All right. So usually when there's an incident, people call out the gun club and the Panthers. But whose responsibility is it to step up and defend the Black community?
So we're not Superman. We're not Superman. I want to put this concept inside of everybody's head. Me personally, I cannot be everywhere at once. I can handle different situations, but my main goal inside of life is my survivability and my family's survivability. You need to learn how to protect yourself. You need to learn how to defend yourself and those people inside of your house. To do that, you need to get that training. We offer that free training. If something happens to you and you had that offer and you did not take up that offer, oh well, that is not our fault. We will help where we can. But for the simple fact, if a person do not feel the need that they need to take that time, instead of buying all of those Jordans that they got up inside of their closet, instead of their rifle, learning how to play that PlayStation instead of learning how to shoot in real life, learning how to drive down to McDonald's and eat that crap instead of growing their own food. That's on you. That's on you. I cannot save you. We gave you, we put it up in front of your face. We did all of this good stuff, told you to learn. We're willing to teach you for free. If you do not want to take that, whatever happens to you, happens to you. I cannot be there with you all the time. I have my own family and I have myself.
Major Bill, would you like to add anything about whose responsibility is it to protect the Black or defend and protect the Black community?
Yes, ma'am. But first of all, let me say this. We was talking about liberation. Our national chairman, Attorney Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, has started a Black liberation school. So that's something that we're trying to get people involved with in that area. As far as protecting our people, I think everybody should be ready to protect everybody. Yes, self-preservation is a must. You and yours first, and then I can't come clean up your house and mine is dirty. But we need to get the mindset that we are here for each other. Maya Angelou, she made an African proverb famous. You know, it takes a nation to raise a village, but nobody talks about the rest of that passage. It takes a nation to raise a village, but if you mistreat that child will come back and burn down that village. There was a point in time, my kids could go to your house and they listen to you. You would whoop their ass and send them home, they got their ass whooped again, as my mother would say.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? We should be responsible for each other. I'm gonna take care of me and mine, but your kids are my kids. You know, that's how I look at it. And, you know, we as the Black Panthers, and everybody say y'all always screaming Black Power, but we scream Black Power. And see, when Black Power became the norm, then it faded. You know, the Black love equals Black family. That's Black Power. Unity, unifying, and Black nationalism. So we as a people have to take care of each other. As you know, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz teaches us that assess a situation. We don't run to everything. And my concept is, I hung up my cape a long time ago. I'm not Super Saver Ho or Super Saver Negro. And you can't be, you know, because you can't run to everything.
Right.
Because some of it be bullshit. Some of it is attention seeking. Some people cry wolf all the time. Some people just cry. And we're not here to pacify grown people. We're here to educate you, uplift you, empower you, and teach you and train you to be able to stand for yourself. But I think it's all of our responsibility to help each other. Black Power.
You all are talking the Black liberation theology here, self-love, community love, love each other, so that way no harm can come from without or within. And yep, I think that's the ultimate goal. Before I ask anything else, Kathy, I know you wanted to get a question in from Fayetteville PACT. Do you want to ask yours?
Well, Dr. Barr, I think you asked all the questions. I think
Okay.
the other question that I will probably go into is, since we did ask about how it looks for North Carolina liberation, I guess we can just ask a question of, you know, when we're talking about organizing and collaborating with people or organizations, how does that alignment look? Like, do they have to have a specific alignment? They just have to be Black led, or do you have to have a certain vision together for y'all to have a collaboration with or collective with?
Well, from the New Black Panther perspective, we are ready to deal with all of those who are ready to deal with us. We want allies. We want members. We want to be able to know that we are a coalition of all the organizations with one purpose. This is a movement. It's not a moment. See, a lot of people don't realize that. And once we just imagine if all of us came together, how powerful we could be. Black Power.
Inside of the Huey P. Newton Gun Clubs, back in the 60s, the civil rights era, we had other communities, other races coming in, and as soon as things got hot, or things like, yeah, pretty much things got hot, they disappeared. Like I said before, this is FUBU. This is for us, by us. Support, we'll take any support, but handling matters at hand, it has to be us. We have to be the ones that are teaching us. We have to be the ones that are doing for us. And that's where we stand on that situation. Does that mean that we hate anybody else? No. But any operation that we will go through, any teachings that we will go through, any training, anything like that, yes, it has to be through us. And that's where we will get our true power. That's how we do get our true respect.
Commander Mossberg, can you tell us more about this free training? If someone, what exactly is it? And if someone were interested, how can they take advantage of that?
Yeah, here in North Carolina, they could call the number of 800-317-1309. We'll direct you to where you need to go, which city you are to report to, and what person you are to report to, what commander. The email to go with that also is hpngc910@mail.com. I repeat that, hpngc910@mail.com. You give us a little information, we'll direct you where you need to go to and just follow suit. It does not cost that much to join. Just have a $25 money order ready to go over to National, and then we'll pave the way for you to get this free training.
I'm typing the number and the email in the chat right now. And it's at mail.com, just mail.com.
Yes.
Okay. HPNGC 910. All right. All right. Major Black, if someone is interested in the new Black Panther Party in the area, how can they start attending, become more involved? Well, he may have had to take care of something with his granddaughter. So speaking of coalitions, you two, Commander Mossberg and Major Black, you seem to know each other, do some work together, be involved in some same efforts together. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Major Black is a Black Panther, but also he is a member of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club also.
Okay.
And I heard him come in, I'm just.
Major Black, are you back?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I put in the chat, Commander Mossberg gave the contact information, phone number, and email address for anyone who might be interested in becoming more involved or finding out about his group. So do you have contact information that you would like to put out right now, or what is the best way if someone's interested?
910 808-9782. Call the line, leave your information, and someone will contact you. Plain and simple.
Okay. All right. Kathy, do we have any other questions from anybody listening in?
No, right now we just have a lot of comments about being injustices and racism of the police and someone being tortured in Robeson County by the police. But we don't have any comments other than the ones that you already addressed. Do you have anything, Dr. Barr, you would like to ask?
No other questions, but I want to leave it open for Commander Mossberg and Major Black. Like anything we haven't talked about tonight, or I didn't ask you, is there anything that you want to get across to anybody listening?
Let me say this. she just brought up police brutality and justice. We allow the system to attempt to do what they do, but they don't do what they do. We just don't surf and ride around and look for things to jump into. You know, people reach out to us. And even with that, we assess the situation before we just go jump into things. We don't just go bogart people's situations or issues or their cases.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this again. A lot of people expect us to come out and move the way they want to move. Sometimes we may get involved in a situation and they see the way that we move and then they don't want us there. Or they don't accept us a certain way. There's been times we may get involved in somebody's situation, incident, whatever the case may be. And once things start to settle out, the white man step in, they have no more use for us. So, you know, we have to pick and choose our battles, per se. Black power.
Mhm. Do your own vetting, and you ain't for everybody, and that's okay.
Black power.
Commander Mossberg, any final thoughts?
Yeah, if y'all protest, what I hate seeing is when the gas canisters come out, y'all disperse. Grab a gas mask. If they shooting rubber bullets or anything like that, go ahead and invest inside of a bulletproof vest or anything like that. They take 30 seconds to crush any type of protest or anything like that for any type of reason. Become smarter. Get the gear. If you could buy Jordans, you could start an LLC. You could buy that gas mask. You could buy that vest. You could buy that rifle. You could buy that pistol. You want to protect yourself. Nobody is allowed to take your life. Nobody. Stop being a victim. We need to start letting people know that they need to start fearing the victim. That's all.
Y'all got me wanting to move back to North Carolina. Hold up.
Look at it like this, sister. The new Black Panther Party, we're not recruiting. Get with your local area, call me, I'll connect you. Black power.
Right. All right, so Kathy, oh, go ahead. Who was that?
This is Mossberg.
Oh, go ahead.
The Huey P. Newton Gun Club is also recruiting. We want able-bodied individuals, even if you know what you're doing. Like I said before, each one teach one. Our people need to know how to defend themselves. So I'm calling out any individual that talk that mess talking about, oh, I already know what I'm doing. Okay, do you know how to instruct? Oh, I already know how to shoot. Okay, do you know medical? Oh, I already know how to do this. Okay, do you know how to grow food? I already know how to do this. Do you know how to construct a living quarters? I'm calling out any individual that say that they know how to do this stuff. We need you in our ranks. Your people need you. This is an ongoing thing that we need to come together on. Your knowledge is nothing to yourself. Your knowledge is everything to everybody else.
And so the contact information for both groups is in the chat if you're on and are interested in finding out more or getting in touch with either of these groups. So if nothing else, I'm gonna say a few words I came across earlier today, which I thought would be appropriate for closing this out. Kathy, do you have any comments, questions before I read this?
No, I just wanted to see if our Vice President Chaliko Hurst had any questions.
What's up, Chaliko? We can't hear you.
No, hi, good evening, everyone. How everyone's doing? I don't have no questions. I agree wholeheartedly with the work that Huey Newton Gun Club is doing, and also the Black Panthers They're doing great work, especially what Mr. Mossberg said about my culture of people buying Jordans and $800 video games, but you don't want to invest in the safety of your household, the training of our kids, and training yourself how to defend not only yourself, but your household. I mean, I've been saying that for at least 20 years. I just posted it, the very same words on my Facebook page 48 hours ago. I don't understand my culture of people. I really don't. And what the brother of the Black Panthers say, he's not trying to save niggas or come to the rescue, help niggas. Me either. I'm not trying to help African Americans. I deal with Black people, and that's BLAQ. I don't deal with African Americans because they've already intellectually been bought and sold. Thurgood Marshall said it best. They look like us, they talk like us, but they're not us. And I'm gonna leave it with that.
Power.
All right, so I'm gonna close out with these words by Gerald Lenoir. Once again, a brother lies dead in the street. Once again, he screams, "I can't breathe," with no relief. Once again, policemen stand idly by. Once again, a man in blue condemns a Black man to die. Once again, Black lives really don't matter. Once again, a Black body is crushed and shattered. Once again, Black lives are under attack. Once again, a man dies because he's Black. Once again, we pray, we march, we dissent. Once again, we rage, we cry, we vent. Once again, we ask, how can this still be? Once again, we answer, white supremacy. America has never paid for its original sin, not for what is or what has always been. So we continue to pay for the color of our skin, not once, but again and again and again. So I want to thank Major Black and Commander Mossberg for your efforts, for your time tonight, for all that you do to achieve and strive for Black liberation, and thank everybody else who attended and sat in, and have a wonderful night. Peace and blessings and power to each and every one of you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Black power to the last hour.
Peace and power, sister.
Okay, thank you.
And Fayetteville PACT, thanks both of you, all of you actually, for attending this, as well as Dr. Barr moderating and our Vice President coming in. So I appreciate it, and we'll continue our series on Sunday and Monday. And everybody have a wonderful evening, and let's keep fighting for justice.
Black power.